Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Whistlethrowers. It's a great way to interact with our show. Our DMs are always open for questions, topic discussions, and more. You will be able to find our new episodes and other announcements there.
Thanks for tuning into the Whistlethrowers podcast. I'm joined by Jack Slaymaker again. Aiden's on vacation, but it's okay. We got right-handed pitcher from Radford University, McGough here. Thanks for coming on, Gene.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm super excited to talk about some sports and have some good conversations.
I got a lot of questions for you.
I have a lot of things, very sports-oriented takes, so I'm very excited to do it.
Yeah, so let's just jump right in. We're going to ask you a couple things. Gene, you missed the whole first year. You're redshirted. What was the Tommy John recovery surgery process like?
Yeah, so my first year at college, I dealt with elbow pain my whole life, but I got to college feeling healthy and everything. In my first month pitching a bullpen, I felt my arm blow out. It was a scary thing for sure. I mean, it kind of shakes you because you expect to do so well in your first year, right? And then it kind of hits you like, you're hurt, you're not going to play. So the whole experience was scary, and the recovery process was long. I'd still say I'm going through it, but I wasn't able to pitch for about a year and a month. And it's just kind of it makes you appreciate what you do because you get taken away from the game so long, all you can do is watch. And that competitive side of you just wants to play. And, it was a long process. Learned a lot. Had to work on certain things related to my pitching and my mechanics. And a lot of the mental aspect of the game, because being away from the game for so long, being a competitor again is you have to find that edge again. So it was a long process for sure, but it was worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. When did you realize that you could play Division I or even being pros an opportunity for you?
Yeah. Well, growing up, even when I was 13 or 14 years old, I always felt like I was pretty good at what I did. I was a good pitcher, threw fairly hard for my age, and there were a lot of years I was hurt, so I really didn't know what I was going to be able to do when I came back from injury as a high schooler. But I'd say my junior year of high school, I threw some really good bullpens and kind of just realized what my ability was again. And my junior year, pitched really well in bullpens to start the year, started getting recruited, and played that whole junior year. That's when things really picked up for me because it's freshman and sophomore years, bigger schools recruit at those ages because there's a lot of projectability that goes into it, and those bigger schools like Power 5 want to get onto you early. Mm-hmm. But when you get to the mid-majors and lower levels, they don't really touch you until you're actually of age and you're actually starting to show things. So for me, that was the case for me. My junior year started to show some potential, started to show that I could throw the ball hard, and it's sitting around in the 90s and stuff like that. So my junior year, that's when things really started for me.
What was the process of recruitment like when you were going into your junior year, coaches calling you and emailing you and stuff?
It's a crazy process because it hit me like a wall. There was no recruitment in my junior year. All of a sudden, they're allowed to talk to you, and it's just it's a wave. Right. It's a wave, and you gotta talk to all these guys really officially and talk about yourself and your family and your ability to play baseball. And it's a lot. It's a little overwhelming, especially when you start doing visits too, because you actually gotta determine can I see myself being here one day? Could I play here for 4 years? But also play here for 4 years, enjoy yourself, meet new people. But also, you always have that, in the back of your head, I want to play at the next level. Which school is going to give me the best opportunity to do that? And that's what my thought process was do I enjoy the coaches here, and do I see potential in me getting better?
Talk about your pitching coach a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, right?
Big name. At school, yeah, for sure. His name was Carl Kuhn, and he was the pitching coach at UVA for 16 years, and that's how I picked Radford was, I saw all these other schools, I appreciated that they reached out to me. But the pedigree of him, it just grabbed me to it, and it's just this is my best shot. Even though it's far away from home, it's 7 hours from where we live. But if I'm really serious about baseball, this is what I got to do. It's time to grow up a little bit. Time to go away from home and really focus in on what I want to do. So that's it. All goes into it. So that's how I made my decision process.
You alluded in one of your last answers that the school social life is still a part of your decision.
Yeah.
How difficult was it balancing the student athlete?
It's tough. It really is tough, and it's not made for everyone too. Because I've seen some teammates where they just have a hard time handling the school part. The school part is so important because it's not like for like a regular student, you go to school and you come home and you got nothing else to do. You have 8 hours to work on homework and do everything you need to do. And for most people, that's plenty of time. But you think about the time sport that you like, amount of hours you spend during the week with sports. I mean, it amounts to like 30, 40 hours even during the off season. Like you got, it's a full-time job. You got lifting.
More than that.
Yeah, exactly. You got individual skill work. You got team practices. You got lifting. You got meetings. You have to be mature enough to realize, like, all right, I'm here to enjoy myself, but also be able to power through the times that are tough when it comes to your schedule, because you're not going to be able to go out every night. Like, that's just, it doesn't fly. Yeah. It doesn't fly. If you do, you're going to wreck yourself and you're not going to do well at anything. It's going to affect your school and it's going to affect your baseball. Yeah. So balancing that, like, definitely for me in my first few weeks of school, like, it was a lot, but you end up getting used to it. Yeah. You really end up getting used to it.
You got used to it pretty quickly then?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I take a hard major in school, and for a while, like, it was just harder academically than I've ever experienced. It definitely was an adjustment period where I started to eventually realize, like, patterns I could get into and how to manage my week and stuff. It took, like, a few weeks for me, like 3 or 4 weeks, but once I got into it, like, it kind of just became routine.
I want to get into your future.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What's your main goal for your baseball career? Where do you want to see yourself?
I want to play baseball for as long as I possibly can. Like, that's how I've always felt. Like, I feel like I'm lucky that I have the ability I do. I definitely don't take it for granted. My optimal future would just be to play in the MLB. And you have to go into that college because they expect that out of you too, right? They don't recruit guys that are like, yeah, I'm just here to be here.
Yeah.
Like, all the coaches will ask you, hey, what do you want to do with baseball? You're like, I want to play in the MLB, man. That's how I feel, and even like during my recovery process, I always had that goal in sight. So that's like, if you have that drive, you really want to get to the next level. That's the way I felt, and that it drives a lot of your decisions that you have to make
when you're going into an off season. You know, because you talk about your goals, and obviously, I guess your teammates all share the same goals too, right? What was going into this off season? What was that like?
Well, going into this off season, I didn't have my best year at college, but I knew that, like, I still believed in my ability. And going into this year is kind of like a prove me summer, right? Yeah. And like the TJ process takes a really long time. Physically, you might be there. Mentally, though, you still have to really get back into the game. That's the hardest part. The summer for me was just like, keep working on your craft, keep working on your skill, and like apply what you learn off the field onto the field. Yeah. And in an environment where you're at summer ball, I was in New York for 2 months. I was up in Auburn, New York, playing for a team I'd never heard of. Like, you have to be really dedicated, improving yourself on every single aspect of the game, like mentally and physically, because they both contribute so much.
With that being said, what was your main thing that you needed to work on?
For me, like, you know, I was throwing hard. My stuff moved well, and like, I've always been able to do that. A lot of it for me was, like I said a little bit earlier, like locking yourself in as a competitor. Realizing that when you face a batter, right, you have to understand that you're already ahead of them. Like, I mean, batters succeed 30% of the time.
At best.
At best. Like, even, like, all-stars succeed.
Fame,
yeah. I mean, you make the Hall of Fame at a 300 average.
Right, yeah.
For me, it was realizing that, taking advantage of that, and feeling like you're already winning before you even pitch. Yeah. Before you even start the at-bat, you're winning. And if you just play to your ability, right, and focus on what you're trying to execute, or your situational awareness, that's what I had to work on this summer, realizing that. Because I didn't realize that this spring, and I struggled because of it. Like, playing Division I hitters for the first time in my life, thinking that, you know, these guys, damn, they're really good.
Yeah, they're great hitters.
They're really good. The playing field levels when you get to D1. Like, in high school, I was, you know, probably on you dominate, right? Yeah. But getting D1, you're like, all right, these guys are just as good as me. Yeah. You have to improve in other ways. You have to separate yourself outside of the physical aspects. And that's what I had to work on. Improving myself mentally to the point where I was so locked in that I'm already winning against these guys.
Because of your stuff. You trust your stuff, so once it's mentally locked in.
If you trust your stuff, you're here for a reason.
Right.
So that's what I had to do.
Do you have any, like, predictions for yourself, like, maybe stat-wise? I don't know, if you wanted to be around a certain ERA or strikeout percentage, something like that.
This summer, I mean, and the spring too. I didn't pitch as well in the spring, but in the summer, I started like 8 or 9 games, pitched 35 innings, which isn't too much for a starter in those amount of starts. but I see myself being a starter, eating up those innings.
And I mean, in summer ball, they want to mix in pitchers, right?
That's right.
So you can all work on
Exactly. Like there were games where I probably could have went longer than others, but you have 11 other guys behind you that want to pitch, and that's fine. You like, it's summer ball. That's perfectly fine. But for me, like, I've always felt comfortable being a starter, going the distance. Like that shit's fun.
What was it like working with all the pitchers from your summer team? Like pushing each other.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool because you get so many different personalities. Like you're up in Auburn, New York. I mean, it's only like 2 miles away from the Great Lakes. Like we went on a trip to Niagara.
Okay.
Yeah, which is cool, Niagara Falls. But you get so many different personalities and so many different types of people. Baseball really exposes you to that.
Yeah.
Like we had guys from Texas, Louisiana. We had a guy from Israel who played on the Israeli Olympic team.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
cool.
Baseball, it introduces you to so many different personalities, and that whole summer ball experience was so cool because you're with it's a sad thing. Like, you're with these guys for 2 months, and the reality is you'll never see them again. Yeah, so you might as well enjoy your time with them.
Yeah.
And that's such a cool thing. Like, we're here only playing baseball, don't have to worry about school. It's so much fun.
It's
fun,
so cool. You're like a kid again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're playing on a travel team or something.
So take me through like a Radford like game day, like what you do.
Yeah.
Before the game, if you have any rituals, share.
Yeah. I really developed it in the summer, and it's getting yourself physically. You're gonna be there. Like you're never gonna struggle like physically if you prepare yourself during the week. Physically, you're going to be there. Mentally, like, you have to be able to lock yourself in. Like, be completely absorbed into succeeding. Because any, like, thinking about failure, that stuff translates to the mound. So, for me, I typically, like, put on music, listen to music. I'm a big Metallica guy. Metallica gets me fired up before games. Yeah. So, I listen to that. I have a stretching routine that I go through every game. And if you keep that consistent and you find something that works for you, like that consistency translates to the mound. You feel more comfortable. You feel like, this is really repeatable. So listening to music, going through the same stretching routine, going through different like pitches in a pregame bullpen, like all that stuff contributes to how you perform in a game. And it really helped me. Like I said, listening to music, having the same stretching routine, bullpen pitches, touching everything, feeling good with it. Like that's a huge thing going.
Yeah. Did you have anything specific, like physically, that you do besides stretching during the week leading up to a start? Maybe that you do.
I like to, and I got into it. This is a Jacob deGrom thing. I learned this from Jacob deGrom, just watching the way he prepares for games. The dude pitches as much as possible. He has 4 days of rest. I would typically have 5 or 6. The dude throws 2 bullpens before each game and then pitches in a game.
Okay.
And he's just doing that to get on the mound as much as possible and go through games in his head.
Yeah.
And it puts his arm in shape because, high effort throws equal higher velocity.
Yeah.
And Jacob deGrom's an ace at velocity. He throws 101, 102 consistently. And I found that worked for me. Just like being on the mound as much as possible, throwing your pitches, and letting it eat a little bit. That stuff works so well. Just throwing as much as you can, honestly.
Yeah. Because all that repetition builds up. And,
the reps out of game environments, like you have to make a game environment in your head.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then when it actually comes to being into games, it's way easier.
Yeah, okay.
Way easier.
I understand that. Yeah, 100%.
And I got one more question for you. You mentioned you like played with a guy from like Israel.
Yeah.
And do you see the game like growing like to other regions, like
totally.
even in like the United States? Because there's like a notion that baseball's dying. Do you disagree with that?
I do disagree with it because MLB's doing, they've already reached like South America very well. I mean, you look at like the amount of baseball players in the MLB that are from Venezuela, from DR, right?
Right. All those Central American countries.
Right?
Yeah.
And they've done a really good job of reaching out to there, and I could see it going forward. And they're also doing like, they have their free prospect camps for inner city people, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing a really good job of reaching out, and I do see the game expanding past where it is.
You see all these Hispanic players in the MLB now, and they're all the passion for the game and the personality is just so vibrant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, they're great for the game.
Yeah, like you got Fernando Tatis, you got Vladdy, right? You got O'Neal coming up. Like those guys, they're dudes.
Yeah,
and they're fun to watch because
they're really fun to watch. Acuna, all those dudes on the Braves.
Yep, all the guys on the Braves, or even like Otani, he's from Japan.
Yeah, right.
That
and look what he's doing.
He's amazing.
He's doing something that we've never seen. You know what I'm saying?
It's so cool. I mean, you can just like how much the outreach in MLB has.
Yeah. We talked about him a lot on our last episode.
Yeah.
So, he was like, all we talk about baseball.
He's something else, man. I mean, he's breaking records like Babe Ruth held, and like you just haven't seen
it's ridiculous.
It forever.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so fun watching him play.
Yeah. 100%.
So much talent. So there's just a lot of talent in MLB right now.
Yeah.
A lot of guys who are coming up that are just young. I think we're going to touch on them later, but like Soto's dude's 24 years old, and he's
one of the best hitters. I mean, he's the top 5 hitter in the league.
$500 million plus contract from the Padres.
Yeah. You said something off camera. Do you think he's actually 24?
He's totally. Totally. Yep.
We'll see if he wants to say that on record.
Yeah. All right, you ready to transfer into trending sports topics?
Yes.
All right, so the NFL appointed an arbitrator to decide how long Deshaun Watson will be suspended. I thought that was kind of stupid. I thought they should just handle it themselves. But the person who they appointed, Sue L. Robinson, has a very legal background, and none of Deshaun Watson's cases were legal. They were all civil. So they got upset when she said he should get suspended for 6 games when none of his cases went to criminal court. And I see her point, and I just think it was like wrong on the NFL to like appoint someone, a third party. She makes the decision, and then they get all up in arms about it.
Totally, yeah. I definitely hear you. And the thing is, we definitely don't understand the whole legal aspect of the entire situation. Exactly, yeah. There's just so much to juggle and stuff. So I'm sure they had their hands tied, the NFL, to make it go to Sue L. Robinson, because definitely if they could have handled it themselves, all these reports come out that they wanted him gone for a year and they wanted a multi-million-dollar fine with it. So the NFL definitely would have done that if they wanted to. I'm sure something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about that made it go to Sue L. Robinson. And here's the thing. I'm not in Sue L. Robinson's shoes, so I can't really, judge her or anything or, give her any backlash.
Yeah.
Even though I disagree with her decision. I mean, in my opinion, it's just a slap in the face to any victim of sexual assault, rape of any kind. And that whole rabbit hole is dark and not great to talk about, so I don't want to get too far into that, but I just think it wasn't a fair decision to them to make this guy an NFL quarterback. And it's just the NFL. I feel like the NFL has always handled these pretty wrong,
Yeah.
Like when Ray Rice, when it first came out that he beat his girlfriend, they suspended him for 4 games, if you remember this. And then the video came out, obviously, of him in the elevator, and they had to suspend him forever, pretty much. He got blackballed after that, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And, even with things like Antonio Brown and Adrian Peterson, a lot of NFL players have some dark off-the-field issues that get swept under the rug a little bit,
But also, yes, he definitely deserves probably a longer suspension. The NFL is kind of odd when it comes to, you look at a guy like Calvin Ridley getting suspended, a higher suspension for spending money on games and betting.
Well, actually,
if you compare the two,
and
are we really going to say gambling's worse than...
Right. Let's make it known, though, that Ridley deserved the year suspension. He deserves that.
He deserves
Yeah.
But, Watson deserves the same thing.
You're really going to say...
Right. We should hold
Calvin
those...
Ridley is getting more games
100%.
It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
I don't get why people are really up in arms in the Calvin Ridley thing, though, because if anyone did that at a normal 9-to-5 job, that's considered insider trading, and they go to jail for it.
Right,
so
yeah.
I don't get why him missing a year is just the biggest deal.
Yeah, I know.
It was a classic NFL moment. They are so inconsistent with punishments.
Exactly.
They can't solve anything themselves.
Yeah.
And this is just literally the prime example of it.
Yeah. And another one Josh Gordon's career getting ruined over weed. But,
Yeah.
I mean, literally Watson is going to be back after 8 games. And he's going to ball out for the Browns because he's a really good player. But he's going to ball out for the Browns, get a ton of media attention.
And the thing is, everyone's going to forget about what he did.
And maybe in 5 years we forget about this entire thing like Ben Roethlisberger. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Where it's not even considered about his career legacy when he's all done. When his career's all said and done.
And I'm all about giving people second chances, though. Like, you know, when it happened with Vic did his time. That's the difference between him and Watson. Vic had a crime. He committed a crime.
How long was his suspension for?
Well, he went to jail. Yeah, he went to prison for like 4 years. So
4 years?
I think it was something like that.
Wow.
I think he went to prison in 2005, and the Eagles signed him in 2009.
Yeah.
So he did his time. He served a punishment. Mm-hmm. It's like Watson, we don't know how many women he did this to. Obviously it was like 30, I think, that filed, but then the New York Times found another 30 that
he met with.
Right.
We don't know if he did anything.
Yeah.
But
they said that he did that to them.
Yeah.
But that they didn't want to pursue it legally. So.
Which is odd.
Really, yeah.
Very odd.
Which is kind of wild because I remember his reputation at Clemson.
Yeah.
But everyone loved that guy.
Yeah, and now he just gets away with this pretty much scotch-free. I mean, it doesn't sit right with me, but I feel like that's kind of how things work sometimes. You know, if you can't prove it, that's how it works.
Do you think the suspension will be upgraded, though? Like, because the NFL's, like, really working on it?
They said they released it today, right before we started the show. 8 games.
Oh, really? I thought you made like a mistake when you said
8 games now.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Just came out before we started.
So that's all that's it?
Yeah, and a $5 million suspension.
I think like the iceberg is like really deep though. Wait, Brennan, you got something?
It was like a report that he could get 8 games and $5 million.
So it's not official yet, but they're talking about it. Okay.
My mistake.
Alright, there's a QB battle in Carolina. Who do you guys want to start?
Yeah, this is...
My personal input is just Mayfield.
I mean, this is the most overblown QB competition ever. Who cares who starts? The Carolina Panthers are going to be garbage. I can't guarantee much, but I can all but guarantee you the Carolina Panthers will be garbage, whether it's Mayfield or Darnold. Now, obviously, you do have to make a decision come week 1, and you have to put who you think is the better QB out there. Listen, both of these guys have not proven anything. Literally nothing. But for their production, I guess you have to choose Mayfield. But I cannot wait until this is over and we can just move on from this entire dumb QB competition.
What'd they trade for Mayfield?
A fifth rounder?
A fifth rounder?
Like, really?
Dude, the amount that they have invested in there.
And we are literally, like, this, they were 2 of the top 3 picks in the 2018 draft.
Yeah.
And they have become this laughable. We're sitting here laughing about talking about. They're on the same team. One of them is going to have to be the backup.
Mayfield does trump him in like almost every category
he
possible.
Does. Yeah, you had some stats, so why don't you read the stats?
Yeah, so the touchdown interception ratio for Baker Mayfield is 92 and 56, almost 2-1. Sam Darnold is 54 and 52, so
jeez.
Literally 1.011. And okay, Mayfield has a higher completion set percentage career by almost 2%. Mayfield also has 6 career comebacks and 7 game-winning drives. Darnold has almost half for each, so 3 comebacks and 4 game-winning drives.
Yeah, that's not really good.
They were drafted the same time, so it's like a great sample size.
Yeah.
And Mayfield has played 10 more games, so he's way more durable than he is.
I think.
Yeah, but we'd see Mayfield win some games. Like, he's not an absolute.
Right.
He's not.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of teams would take Mayfield.
Right. I really took issue with like how the Browns kind of like showed like how expendable he really was after they went through like 20 quarterbacks in like 20 years.
Yeah, I know. And he was the one that brought you to the first playoff win, and you treat him that poorly.
So for the Browns, though, they're going to be starting Jacoby Brissett game 1. So.
Yeah.
They should have treated him better, kept him around so he would up his trade value, and then they could have gotten more out of him.
Yeah.
But
and I don't think at this point, like... See, the thing is, now with Watson's going to be coming back, I feel like they made the right decision. But I do agree with you that they treated him so unfairly.
It was terrible.
It was so wrong. And that should be a mark on all of those front office members for their career. You know what I'm saying? Because just imagine if it was in Philadelphia, if we had 20 years of that losing football misery year after year, all these trash quarterbacks coming through, and then we finally break through the 1 year.
Oh, yeah. Everyone says Philly would do that, though.
No, I don't. I think we would have been upset with Howie and Jeff if they treated that type of quarterback that way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we would have wanted to upgrade, no question. Yeah. But there's a way to upgrade without doing what they did. You know what I mean? Because, that's just wrong. You know?
They treated Nick Foles
poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, Baker...
We can have that conversation.
Yeah, Baker and Darnold, I feel like, are just going to fizz out after a year or two. And they'll both be gone from Carolina within 3 years, I'd say. And, they'll be backing up somewhere. That's their next step. After Carolina, they'll both be backups.
Who's the rookie there? Corral?
Matt Corral from, where did he go?
I think
Ole
you
Miss.
could see, like,
Ole Miss.
Mayfield sliding into, like a Ryan Tannehill role, where he's, like, a good game manager.
Mayfield?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think he's that level.
If you have
really
other
don't think he
aspects
is.
around your team that are pretty good,
That's true.
I think
That's
Mayfield
true.
proves that if he has a good team around him, like, he could be a winning quarterback.
But it won't be in Carolina.
It won't be at all.
It won't be in Carolina.
I feel like him and Carson are in the same boat, but Carson's like 1 year further to becoming Ryan Tannehill, because if he has one more bad year, he's just going to bounce everywhere.
The thing with Wentz is his entire thing needs to be fixed mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has the physical traits. He can throw the ball
Dude
deep.
has a rocket arm.
Yeah, we saw him. He made a lot of amazing throws that year. And he still did after, not as much, obviously, but he still showed the ability to make some really, really good throws. So I think Wentz has the ability. It's all about mentally getting that fixed out, you know? I'm kind of nervous a little bit about him being on the Commanders. Are you guys at all?
Might ball out against the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm a little bit nervous. Because
Revenge tour.
Listen, I'm not saying that I'm going to put the Commanders over Dallas, but I've seen people say that the Commanders will have a better season than Dallas, and I don't call them crazy.
Well, I think no one's expecting anything from the Commanders, and people are expecting stuff from the Cowboys, so I think they're going to have a more impressive season, but...
You're going to get an 8-8 season out of the Commanders, like you do every year.
You think so?
8, 9,
I think they have a chance to get to 10. I think 10 would be their ceiling. I think they have a chance to get to it.
But it would be very hard.
Their D-line is good, and I've said this forever.
And they didn't even have Chase Young last year.
Yeah. If you dominate the line of scrimmage, you're going to succeed. You know what I mean? You're going to have some success. So when Washington plays like the Giants, I don't think they're going to lose to the Giants because they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. They were a top 5 rushing offensive line last year, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But by the numbers, they were a top 5 rushing offensive line. So they can dominate the line of scrimmage.
Last year, you have a good rushing offense. You have a good rushing offense in the regular season.
Yeah.
You can carry yourself
and
to 9 wins.
The Eagles outperformed their talent last year. No question. No question they outperformed their talent. Look at that defense last year. There was nothing on that. You know what I'm saying? You had Slay, but Graham went out. What were the linebackers? The linebackers were horrendous.
Yeah.
You had an old McLeod who was not good, and Epps Epps has showed a little bit of promise, but he wasn't that good last year. Slay obviously was Slay. But dude, Nelson was not that good. And Maddox had a little bit of an upturn, but still had more to prove.
He's still
you know?
like a CB2.
Yeah, I'm confident in him this year, but last year he was iffy. And then on offense, dude, we're trotting out Rager all these weeks, and Sanders had a bad year, but we still were able to push through and beat a lot of.
You got Giants killer.
I
Boston
shouldn't say
Scott.
good teams. We beat bad teams last year.
Yeah.
We beat bad teams, but
I saw on Birds Talk Jalen Rager's fighting to make the roster this year.
Yeah, no, he is. But I've also did you see his quote? I think it was yesterday. He spoke. I liked his quote yesterday. He was talking about. Yeah, he was talking about his mindset pretty much for this coming season, and he said it was humbling to go from a first-round pick to fighting for a roster spot come his third year.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel for him.
Yeah,
he might go through like a Nelson Aguilar.
You never know, dude. He's working hard, I think.
Aguilar
he's working hard.
His third year, and that was a Super Bowl year, right? So, and he was a huge piece into that. Like, he could definitely play a big part on the team. If Rager can be a reliable option behind Watkins, you would take it.
Yeah,
that's for sure. You would take it.
Behind Brown and Devontae Smith, too.
Yeah.
Watkins is going to have a good year. You just brought up his name. Yeah, he's going to have a good year. Yeah. But it's all about Hurts, too. You know what I'm saying? It's all about Hurts.
It all leads back to the quarterback controversy. Not even a controversy, just the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
There's no controversy to be had.
Yeah.
People are going to be screaming for Gardner Minshew anyway. But
he's having a terrible camp, too. He's having a terrible camp.
While we're on the topic of the Eagles, we actually have our very first ever fan take. And you guys want to guess who it's from? He sucks in Madden. We own him, and me and Gene own him in Madden.
I know exactly who it is.
He goes by the name Shane Collington, and he wanted to know what everyone in the room record prediction for the Eagles was.
Okay.
So, well, it's gonna be better than his record against me in Madden. I can tell you that.
You go first, Gene. You go first. I want to see where you're at.
17 games. I'm thinking in the range of 11-6.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I haven't really taken a good hard look at their schedule yet, but I still think there are going to be some games where they could definitely have won.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to, like they did last year, I think they're going to take all the games against, or at least the majority of them against teams that are worse than them, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
But the biggest question I think they're going to have is, can they separate themselves against elite defenses that aren't the Saints and good quarterback competition?
Yeah.
Last year, you look down the stretch, man, they beat up on some bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Giants and Commanders down the stretch for most of it. It helped us out a lot.
The Jets.
I think the biggest thing this year for them is just going to be beating those better teams.
Yeah. So you said 11?
11-6. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what around me. My floor would be 10. I think that the lowest he'll go is 10.
Same.
Because
they're definitely better than last year.
Yeah.
Better than last 100%. Year. Last year they were 9-8 last year?
Yeah. I have taken a hard look at the schedule. The schedule is a little bit favorable for the Eagles at points. They do have some tough games. Obviously you get Dallas. We have Green Bay, which is going to be tough. Tennessee is going to be tough. They might not be as good as they were last year, but they're going to be pretty tough. Indianapolis on the road might be tough. But
do we have another Week 17 game or Week 18 game against the Cowboys?
No. Our last game is the Saints.
They're keeping the Week 18 though, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. But we also have some easy games. We get Lions. I shouldn't call the Lions easy. I mean, no NFL game is easy, but they are some of the bottom teams. The Lions, I feel like the Vikings are going to be pretty low this year. We have Chicago.
Mike Zimmer anymore, right? They don't have Mike Zimmer?
Yeah, they fired him.
Yeah.
And they hired, who did they hire? Kevin. Yeah, And so we have, I said Chicago. Yeah, we have some teams that we can beat up on, you know what I'm saying? Some of those tougher games that I said, like Green Bay and Tennessee, you get them at home. New Orleans is at home. Those are some tougher games. So it works out for us where we get those tougher games at home, which makes it easier for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think if I had to go for a specific record prediction, I'm going to go one up you. I'm saying 12-5. I think we can definitely do it. 3 seed in the NFC, I would say.
I want to lean higher, but I think there's just way too many uncertainties.
I hear you, definitely. And this is, my prediction is based off of my prediction of Hurts, which I think Hurts is going to, like I was saying before we started, Hurts is going to be a top 15 QB this year. That's where I think that I'm going to see his production.
Who did that list with Jalen Hurts? They put him 20
Who cares? It was Chris Sims, right?
Yeah,
that's who it is. Who cares?
He was behind Zach Wilson.
He ranked him 40 last year, and he was unquestionably top 21.
I hope he proves him wrong again because 40 is a clown take.
That was terrible. That was absolutely horrendous. So I don't listen to too much of that stuff. He's going to go out on the field this year, and we're going to see where he's going to be. Don't worry about the preseason predictions, whatever. Chris Sims ranking QB. I don't care. I think he's going to be a top 15 QB.
They hated on Doug when he won a Super Bowl.
Right,
whatever.
So we got a listener sitting in. Brennan, what do you think the Eagles' record is going to be this year?
I don't know. I'm thinking around 11-6, 12-5. I think there's going to be some games that we do lose that we should win, like Gene said earlier. But I don't know. I'm thinking 12-5, 11-6, around there. I'm going to say 11-6 because I think we'll lose one in the division. We'll go 5-1 in the division, but we'll lose probably Dallas because they're probably
I think we definitely split against Dallas.
Oh yeah,
I think split against Dallas.
And I don't know. I think the Commanders, they could be tough. If they play to their potential, they could be solid.
Yeah.
But the Giants, they'll just be the Giants. They'll be horrible.
Yeah.
Probably number 1 pick in the draft. I'm thinking top 5 for sure, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Okay, I'm going to one up all of you, and I'm going to say if everything goes right, we are going to go 13-4 this year.
That's if everything goes right.
Yeah. That's if everything goes right. But when I look at this team, I look at the 49ers from even this year or last year. Everything is stacked. Every position is filled, except there's questions with the quarterback. And I'm not shitting on Hurts or anything, but I think he can be good. But there are legitimate questions.
Right? No, yeah,
around
100%.
Hurts.
Yeah.
But I think there's 2 scenarios where I think we could go 9-8. And that's either if the whole, we suffer a lot of injuries, which bar last year we did for the last 4 years, or if Hurts just isn't that guy. I just do not see us having a losing season with this team.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, there's so much talent.
I think the chances of us having a losing season are very, very low.
Yeah, I think we have a better chance at going 13-4 than we do 10-7, 9-8. I think that's where I'll say.
All right, so let's transition to the MLB. Juan Soto got traded. It was funny because I was texting Aiden, and actually, no, I wasn't texting. I was in the car with Aiden. We were going to play basketball, and he's like, "Man, I was so wrong about Juan Soto. I thought he wasn't going to get traded. He literally gets traded like 2 days after we filmed that episode."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he had 3 years of club control left, and he was 24 years old. Like,
it made honestly,
it's wild.
And the prospects that the Nationals got back, I don't think that was sufficient enough for Juan Soto. He's good. Yeah, he's a nice player. Yeah.
All those guys they got, even C.J. Abrams. And
C.J. Abrams.
Yep. Like the majors, they were all top 20 MLB prospects.
Yeah.
That's a haul.
Okay. Yeah, they did haul it then.
Yes, but
okay.
I was looking at. I didn't mean to interrupt. Looking at it earlier, like go back to some of the trades that I was looking at this earlier, like for high tier players like that. I looked at the Manny Machado trade 2018.
Yeah.
The return they got from that, looking 4 years past that trade, is just like you never know.
The Orioles, what was it? Do you know?
They got like Yuniel Diaz and like guys that. There's one guy that's a starter that has like a 2.59 ERA. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But like those returns, like you never know for sure.
Yeah, right. That's the thing.
Scary part of trading a guy away like Soto because you know he's going to be he's a perennial all-star.
Yeah, and it's like, why would you take that risk when you know what Soto's going to be? Why? When we talked about this last week on the show, when Soto denied, what was it, 425? 440. So, one up it. 500. Why not? You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to pay him 440, why not go to 500?
And it's not like the salary cap is so firm in the MLB. I mean, you got a luxury tax. But you can still go above it, and you can pay him that money.
And he's Juan Soto. Yeah. So you want to pay him. And he's 24 years old. You can lock him up for his whole career. Yeah. It made no sense to me to trade him, honestly.
Do something similar like the Braves did. Braves extended Freddie Freeman even when they were in their worst times. And look what happens. They won a World Series last year.
But the second part of the question was, did anyone have a better trade deadline than the Padres? And when I read that, I was thinking, I mean, you could argue the Phillies had a really good deadline, but it was nowhere close to the Padres, I don't think.
The Yankees are the closest in my eyes, because they got 3 pitchers and Benintendi.
Yeah.
They got Juan Soto, and no one's even talking about them getting Josh Hader because they got Juan Soto.
That was another big,
and they got
huge
Fernando
piece.
coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play at all this year, right?
No.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You got Fernando 1, Juan Soto 2, and Manny Machado 3.
And Josh Bell 4. Josh Bell, the unsung part of that Juan Soto trade.
Have fun facing that as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They're going to be scary in the postseason.
For the Padres, was it worth it? Totally.
Totally. Put your eggs in this team's basket for sure.
I'll be interested to see how it works out for the Nationals in the coming years. If those guys actually turn into even getting close to the production you're going to get from one player.
I do think they have a bright future. Yeah. I think they do. It's going to be a couple years of struggle, but I think they have a bright future.
They got Mackenzie Gore now, right? They got Josiah Gray.
Yeah, he's nice.
Deal.
Yeah.
Who was that for Trey Turner?
Turner and Scherzer. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They got some pieces.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dodgers had a not so good trade deadline, and do you think they kind of forfeited the division title for the next couple of years?
So the Dodgers?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the Dodgers did the right thing standing pat because at this point do they have a hole? I don't think so.
And they
really.
just
you know what I mean?
Beat up on the Padres.
Yeah, so I don't think it's worth.
Soto, they beat up on them.
The Dodgers draft really well too, and their farm system is really good in terms of developing players. So I don't think it's worth giving up prospects to buy a player that you don't really need. And I don't think that they have anyone in their lineup right now on their roster that they want to give up. You know what I'm saying? They could have said Lux at the beginning of the year, but then he got hot in June.
You can't trade away a guy like that. And you look at the Dodgers, too. They have a lot of guys that aren't even in the majors yet. They're coming back from injury.
Exactly,
They got Dustin May.
He's going to be nice.
He's going to be nice. You got Bobby Miller coming up, who's in AAA right now. 2 dudes that just are consistently over 100.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to trade for a guy like that.
And their bullpen with Gratterall is... Yeah. They have a nice pen.
So I think the Dodgers are well positioned regardless of whether or not the Padres have
You could say they had a bad deadline, though, because obviously they didn't really do anything. Mm-hmm. But I think at the same time that it benefited them to not do anything.
Look at a playoff series, though, right? Who are the Padres going to face? How are they going to match up against the Dodgers pitching?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Padres...
They got Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, and dude, it's October. It's hard to hit the baseball. You know what I'm saying? It's not August or July anymore. Yeah, 100%, and their bullpen too. Yeah. Even with Hader, and actually, I'll take the Phillies bullpen too over the Padres bullpen.
I would
top to bottom.
Yeah, with the acquisition of David
Robertson. Yep,
they're studs.
Yeah,
they're not bad. Mm-hmm. Sir Anthony's just coming out of the shell, man.
And I mean, the Braves adding Iglesias too, Raisel Iglesias. Their pen is looking pretty good.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. And Will Smith was having a bad year, so they dumped him. I think they sent him to LA Angels.
While we're on the topic of pitchers, who do you guys think is the best pitcher in the game this season?
You go.
Justin Verlander. Just for the fact that the dude's 39 years old, and he's averaging 99 on his fastball.
Yeah.
And he's had a shoulder surgery, just came back from TJ.
Yeah.
Has a 1.81 ERA last time I checked. Like, yeah, does he have many years left? Who knows? But right now, like, you gotta give the guy props for just being an absolute dog.
Yeah.
Like, he is made himself better in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even after all the surgeries, like, he had a tough time in Detroit before he left. I know a couple of years there. But when he got to Houston, even when he got hurt, like, he's just been solid.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's close between Alcantara and Verlander. But Verlander has just been doing it for so long. And I'm not going to put in DeGrom either because he hasn't pitched enough this year. Like, if he's healthy, he's the best pitcher in the MLB.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
But if you're talking about guys who have pitched this year.
But DeGrom has had trouble staying healthy, so you have to take that into account.
I think if they're all healthy, DeGrom's by far the best pitcher in the MLB.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But as it stands right now, through 2/3 of the season, like, Verlander has pitched the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Verlander's a great choice. My choice was definitely Alcantara. Yeah. I mean, after seeing him throw last night, too, against the Phillies, even though the Phillies got to him in the 8th, he dominated 7 innings.
Oh, yeah.
Dominated. And he's been doing that to everyone.
And he's an innings eater.
Yeah, more than half of his starts, I'm pretty sure, went more than 7 innings. And I might be getting this wrong on the number, but his ERA plus was like 217.
He's all above average.
Which means he's 117% better than the average MLB pitcher in terms of ERA. Like, he has been having an incredible season.
Yeah, his ERA's been 1-something the whole year. I mean, now it's 2.01, but even still, dude, like, he contributes in so many different ways.
He's so good.
Giving the bullpen a break every single time he pitches.
Yep.
And giving his team a chance by only giving up 1 to 4 runs a game.
His team's in the game every single time. And it's a shame because he'll lose some of those games because like his bats just don't show up. He should no. Because
and he shouldn't have been left out that long. Like,
no, for real, yeah.
Him as much as they possibly can because he's that legit.
Yeah.
I had Verlander also. Gene mentioned he's 39, obviously, and he's still kicking around. Like, that's just amazing to me.
You said 181 last time you checked?
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, so at the time of this recording, he's started in 21 games, and he only allowed 28 earned runs, which is just incredible. And he's gotten 15 wins and 3 losses, so out of the 21 games he's pitched, he's decided 18 of them. That just tells me they live and die by him pitching, and out of every 6 games, they're going to win 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's just so impressive to me. The longevity, and his ERA is not as good. Well, actually, it's better than Alcantara right now.
Yeah, it is.
1.85.
Right.
But it's not the lowest in the league. You would take that.
No, it is. It is.
Oh, it is?
Yep. He's leading the league in ERA.
And look at the Astros, too. Not to interrupt you, but they got Lance McGough strong back, too. Like, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 136 innings and 28 earned runs. That's insane. 134 strikeouts in those innings. His ERA plus is 2.09. Yeah, he's having a great year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy. 39 years old and he's still chugging along like that. And I mean, you think if he's putting up those numbers right now, when is he slowing down? Another 5-6 years? Is he like a Tom Brady-esque MLB pitcher?
No, I totally agree though. Like, he's talent-wise. I mean, if you're looking at pure talent in the MLB, DeGrom has everyone. DeGrom is easily the best pitcher, stuff-wise and skill-wise. But his health, like, this year hasn't been a factor, so if you exclude him from the conversation, right now it has to be.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, you're definitely right, but you have to take the health into consideration when you're ranking him, because Verlander and Alcantara, dude, they're out on the mound every 5 days pumping it, you know what I'm saying, and they're going hard, so you have to give them the benefit of the doubt when they're on the mound every night and doing it. Like DeGrom, if he's healthy for 2023, which even as a Phillies fan, I hope he is. Like, I hate seeing great players injured. I hate seeing any player injured, but I especially hate seeing great players injured because you can't see them be great. So a guy like DeGrom, you want him on the mound. I want to see him. And even Scherzer, you want to see that rotation.
The whole rotation in the playoffs is going to be absolutely dangerous.
Bassett, too, so underrated. Taijuan Walker having a very underrated season.
That whole rotation is just...
Yeah, they have a really nice squad.
But talent-wise, you all think DeGrom is the best?
Talent-wise, he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he won back-to-back Cy Youngs, right? It was back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
And last year, before he got hurt, he had the lowest ERA. Like, it was Lee Smith.
That was crazy.
Lee Smith was the last guy who had a lower ERA halfway through the season.
Right.
If he hadn't got hurt last year, he might have put up one of the best statistical seasons in
right.
MLB history.
No, that span from the beginning of April until, what was it, like mid-July or mid-June, he got hurt.
He wouldn't give up runs.
That was probably the best stretch by any pitcher ever.
Oh, yeah. And it's just a time to be alive when a pitcher touches a .69 ERA.
No, you're right. You're right,
oh
though.
My God.
I mean, and he was under 0.5 for a really good amount of time. Like, he was hitting 100 innings and still at 0.5 ERA. Like,
think about the consistency
it's unheard
of that.
of.
Like, every single outing he had was under 4 runs, 3 runs.
Yeah.
And you knew every time you'd go out, just having that level of consistency is amazing.
And he was
just
going 7-8 innings every single time. Yeah. He's a great pitcher. I love watching the pitchers, like, do their thing.
And it's so cool watching his progression because when he came into the league, he threw 95, which is gas. But he just has achieved another level, and he's in his low 30s.
Yeah. You know who else kind of had that? Was Garrett Cole. Like, even though I don't really like Cole.
Cole got unlocked when he hit the Astros.
Yeah. And when he was on the Pirates, everyone was talking about how promising he was because he could pump. And then he went to Houston and balled out.
He utilized what he had better.
Yeah,
like when
that was
when
it.
you went into the science of it, like they got rid of his 2-seam and they just started throwing as hard as he could.
Yeah,
up in the zone and down in the zone.
It was
not
coaching.
East to west.
And I mean, even though the Astros had that whole scandal, you can't deny their coaching was phenomenal. Everything about that organization was top notch, besides the moral aspect, I guess.
You guys ready to transition to the NBA?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't want to talk about this topic because I'm so sick and tired of like the Kevin Durant drama.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm so done with it. I love him as a player, but like he's so dramatic.
Yeah.
So dramatic.
Yeah, I don't really agree with how he's handling this. I do think he's making the right decision for himself, just in terms of leaving the Nets. And I think that, here's the thing. I think that the art of requesting a trade, but still playing and being 100% committed to your team, I think that art of that has been lost.
Oh, yeah,
somewhere, and because you remember back in the day when Kobe was requesting a trade from the Lakers, I'm pretty sure it was 2006 or 7.
Yeah, and he wanted to go to the Bulls, right?
Yeah, he wanted to be traded from LA, and he kept playing, kept practicing, kept being a leader, and he ended up staying, then leading them to 2 more rings after that. So I'm saying with Kevin Durant, you can request a trade and everything and still try and salvage what you have in Brooklyn, because at the end of the day, there is talent on the roster. There is, I don't...
Let's be real, though. Who wants to play Ben Simmons?
We're getting into him.
I mean, is he talented?
Very.
He is a 3-time All-Star.
He's very talented.
He's extremely athletic. I mean, there's something there. It's obviously the off-the-court stuff and the mental stuff is its own rabbit hole. But he's got something, Mm-hmm. He's not a nobody. He's not a trash player. And obviously, Kyrie Irving. You have Seth Curry and Drummond. Claxton is pretty young. Bruce Brown is... Like, there's talent. And I understand...
Bruce Brown's gone.
Oh, where'd he go?
Utah.
For real?
Yeah,
that's right. Drummond went to the Bulls. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Bruce Brown.
Maybe there's not as much talent as I thought before I started talking, but I think that he should try and salvage what he has left instead of giving them an ultimatum. Pretty much, like, I don't want to play another game here. I don't necessarily agree with that, and I just think that's a slight on Kevin Durant's career and legacy because. Yeah, right. Even LeBron, and I'm not a huge LeBron guy. I do admire his greatness and everything, but LeBron has never done that. LeBron has been committed to every team he's been to, and he's busted his ass for every team that he's been on, So, you can't really say the same for Durant. You can't really.
No, you can't at all.
With OKC and Golden State, you can. But with Brooklyn, I think he's turned a different page.
Well, I think Brooklyn was a failed experiment. Like, James
100%.
Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant all on one team, and just even if those guys were
it was a mirage.
Yeah, like even if those guys are like best friends off the court, like it's hard to satisfy all their needs on the court.
Right.
Right?
100%.
I think that's part of the reason why. I mean, he saw that they couldn't play with James Harden. James Harden left.
Yep.
He got bounced in their first round.
Not just bounced, swept.
Yeah, he sees, I think he probably sees better potential for the remainder of his career somewhere else now that experiment was kind of a fluke.
Yeah.
Didn't really work out so well.
Yeah. And let's get this straight too, though. Durant's a Hall of Famer, first ballot. Like, no question.
He's the best scorer ever.
Yeah. And he was the best player on 2 finals teams. Yeah. He was the best player. He may not have been the leader, but he was the best player. No question.
I mean,
the
he was
best.
part of one of the most dominant rosters ever in NBA history.
That was the best team probably ever, talent-wise. I mean, Bulls obviously accomplished more. Yeah, honestly, I do think so, too. But talent-wise, top to bottom, obviously, Golden State takes the cake. No question.
All right, though. You talk about Kevin Durant's trade destinations. We keep talking about Philly stuff.
No, I don't. Honestly, I'm good.
Actually, before you came, Gene said something terrible, and I want him to repeat it.
Yeah, you know what? You want to talk about... No. Here's what I'm going to say. I think trading away Maxey for Harden isn't the worst idea ever.
For Durant.
Yeah. I see that.
Listen, I was in your boat. I was in your boat the minute Durant requested the trade. I'm now out of this boat. But yeah,
so you got Joel Embiid. What is he, 29 now? 28?
28.
How many more years you got him, man? How many more years will
I see a 3 to 4 window. 3 to 4 year window.
Okay, Gene.
By keeping Maxey, are you thinking about the future, or are you thinking about Joel Embiid's prime?
I'm thinking about now and the future because I think Maxey will be a key piece to a championship. I think when Embiid and Harden are out, I think Maxey can carry that, and I think you give yourself some stability as a franchise.
I think you give Maxey this year as a starting role without any controversy surrounding the point guard position. He's going to average 24, 25 a game. I see it at points. You see that?
That's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
I still think Kevin Durant has more of an impact on the court.
He does, but.
I would love to keep Maxey, but if it meant getting 2 to 3 years of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Joel Embiid all in the same court, that's worthwhile to think about hard. As much as we all love Maxey,
I definitely understand your point, and I don't think you're crazy or anything for saying that. But for me, I think you're opening a Pandora's box when you're trading for Durant because
I agree with that.
I think when you have 2 superstars like Durant and Harden who are at the back end of their career, it's going to be tough for them to stay on the court. And we saw it in Brooklyn. Dude, they didn't play much of any games together.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That big 3. So I think that's what you're going to get. If you bring Harden and Durant here, I think Harden and Durant are going to be missing time, and then Embiid's going to be by himself.
It's tough, man, because I'd be happy with both situations.
And at least when you have the Harden and Maxey and Embiid big 3, if Harden does happen to miss some time, you have Maxey there to salvage it with him. Yeah. Listen, I'm dead set on this Sixers core can win it. I'm dead set.
You feel that way?
No, I do not. But
so then what are we doing?
Okay, I agree with this. I agree with Slay's point for here and now keeping Maxey, but you realize the current league economy, Kevin Durant would gut the Sixers, and we're already down 3 first-round picks. We probably have to give 3 more at least. We're going to be New York Knicks bad for the
we
next
have to salvage
10 years,
something. Yeah,
and we'll have no future.
Look what on that point, because you just said the Knicks. The Knicks did this for Carmelo Anthony. They gave up all this crap for Carmelo Anthony, and look at them now. Carmelo Anthony's era in New York passed, and what has it been? Since Carmelo Anthony walked off the floor in Game 6 of the 2014 first round. What's it been?
I don't disagree with you.
Right?
They haven't been that much of a
He walked off that floor in Indiana, and it hasn't been anything since.
I don't disagree with you, but
I don't know. That's my point. You have to salvage something. So, I understand that you don't believe in the core, do you? You don't think we can win a championship? I do, but
I don't.
I've just seen this team where we have these expectations where they're like, you know what, they can go all the way, and they play amazing in the regular season. And they've had better regular seasons than last year.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything with it when it hits playoffs.
Well, obviously, you two are on a different page than me with Harden. I believe in Harden.
I believe in Harden, but I don't think, I think he's going to average 25. I don't think he's going to be... Yeah, 25, 26. I just don't think he's going to... I think he'll be 32 points a game and hit every 3-pointer he takes.
But I'm saying, and
that's what you need in order to get to the NBA Finals. And then have to go beat the Warriors.
Well, let's say Embiid will be 27, and that's on the low end for him. Maxey, I think, is going to be 22. Harden, I think, will be 21, 22. And then you have Harris, bro, give us 15, 16. But shoot the ball 50. I want to see close to 50 from the field. I want to see 40% from 3 from Tobias Harris. I want to see Niang, Milton, DeAnthony Melton, and PJ Tucker. I want to see these guys at 38 and up from 3. That's what you need.
Aren't PJ Tucker and Kevin Durant best friends? Like, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And then they also hired the Texas trainer.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, they played at Texas together. Tucker and Durant.
Yeah.
I forgot
they
about
hired
that.
their trainer too.
Yeah.
So,
same time.
Morey's probably making a move to try and convince him to come here. That's just the way I see it.
That's more tampering we're going to have to go with. But that's literally the next topic, so I don't want to beat it.
Let's
right
get to the tampering.
Am I really wrong, though, for not believing in Harden? Like, looking back at his whole career, like him, like as a person.
I just think if you want to look back at his whole career, like, I don't think Harden has been this committed to a team. And I don't think that using his past is the right measuring stick for this moment of time. Because, dude, did you see that clip I sent to you from Slam? They posted it on Instagram, and it was after Harden at the Rico Hines basketball runs.
Yeah,
so he played with, like, Siakam and Scotty Barnes and stuff. You saw those clips floating around. And, you know, just that, like, 15-second clip of him talking, that really made me buy in because I think his mind is in the perfect place. Not just the right place, the perfect place.
Can I paint the picture for you really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we lose in the playoffs, second round or conference finals. How likely would you even be shocked if Harden puts back on the fat suit, KD goes onto his Twitter burner account?
Yeah, don't say
Embiid
KD. I don't want KD. So
I know, I'm just saying, like, would you be surprised if either one or both of them tried weaseling their way out of Philly in 1 or 2 seasons from now?
I would be surprised and disappointed. Because I don't think that's what Harden wants. I think Harden sees that this is his last chance. Because this is his last chance at a championship.
Yeah, it is. It's like Sunday night, and like he has to submit a final.
Yeah, so I think he wants to milk everything he can out of this situation. Because in Houston, I think he said, I'm a 36-point per game scorer. I have years left, and I can go somewhere else and win. I don't want to be around Houston, who they dumped Westbrook. That team was going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
So
he wanted to get out of there.
Again, the grass is greener on the other side, and he sees another team that he can get on that isn't the Sixers.
Well, then
it can happen.
I think he's misinformed then because there's really no way he can get out of here besides playing out his contract because who wants to trade for Harden? And what are we going to get for Harden? I want something for Harden.
Yeah.
If we're going to trade Harden, I want something. Like
I think the Clippers could.
Clippers?
Could.
But what are they giving us player-wise? Because I want a player and some picks. So give me 1 first-round pick and what player?
I don't think there is one player, but I think there is multiple players.
All right, give me them. Who do you think?
Reggie Jackson for sure. They would have to do a lot of role players. Like it would have to be.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want, dude. You need.
Are you really going to trade away him for
Jackson? Like, no, I don't think that's going to happen,
and Joel Embiid, that might make it out.
No, I think Harden's bought in, dude. I think Harden is bought in on this. He's working hard. He's bought in. This is not something we've seen from him. This is not Harden's normality. This is not his typical behavior. And I'm not a guy who likes the athletes posting their off-season work on social media and stuff. I don't really like that after the Ben Simmons debacle. But the thing is, Harden has never done it. So the fact that he's doing it, and we're seeing it now, makes me, I'm like, okay, I kind of like where this is going. Obviously, he has to go prove it on the court. But I think that he will. That's where my mind is. I think that he will, and that's why I think we can win a championship with this core. That's where I'm at. You know, and everyone has talked about this, the fat suit stuff. Like it's a dead horse at this point. It's been beaten. You know what I'm saying? And I understand. Like I understand the concern. It's happened
really
twice,
effective for him
right?
in his career.
It's happened twice. Yeah,
I've never seen someone get anything once.
I don't blame anyone for thinking that.
He definitely looks way more committed to the city than he ever has.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't blame. I don't blame you, Jack, for saying that. But at the same time, like. I think you have to look past it a little bit.
Okay, this next segment it could be either 10 seconds or it could add 20 minutes onto this podcast. Nobody on the Colin Cowherd show, I think it was, said that Ben Simmons left the team chat when asked about playing Game 4. Do you guys believe this? Like, can a player actually be serious and do that?
If he ever did that, he would never be accepted by his teammates again.
Mm-hmm.
So legitimacy of that, I have a hard time believing it.
Yeah.
But we're talking about that So
I know, yeah.
Can't put it past
It
him.
would be something that Ben Simmons would do.
We just love him here, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love
We all
talking
have a
about
dying
him.
Ben Simmons.
But in my eyes, the second that came out, I burrowed my eyebrows and I was like, what the hell? What are you saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, it seems so obviously fake. And I don't necessarily want to bash this reporter, whoever it was, too much. But if that guy did just make this up to get some clicks about Ben Simmons, like, really? I mean, and I am nowhere close to a Ben Simmons supporter. Nowhere close. But really? Making up stuff like that, it just, I think that shows the dirty side of sports media sometimes.
Yeah.
And media in general. It's a slow summer. Only baseball's on. The Colin Cowherd show doesn't get views talking about baseball. So I understand that they want something to talk about and that the Kevin Durant situation hadn't released really yet. And the NFL training camp got off to a pretty slow start. I mean, we were literally talking about Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. You think anyone wants to talk about that? So I understand that it's slow and everything, but really, like, you got to go after him out of all people. Can you give the guy a break? Seriously, I mean, just from a humanity standpoint, the guy obviously went through something pretty traumatic. He did.
Yeah, he
I
got
mean, let's
made
be
fun
real.
of more than
Right.
anyone
Right. I mean,
ever will.
as much as I don't like the guy, as much as he brought that on himself, come on, cut him some slack, give him a break. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want to accuse that reporter of anything, but
Yeah.
if he did do that, that's really messed up.
Did you see his like indirect response to the report?
Yeah, I saw, and
he
that
say?
makes me think that it was fake, you know,
Yeah.
because like Ben Simmons tweeted out "slow news day" with a laughing emoji for anyone that doesn't know, but that makes me think that it was fake. It's like, really, that's so scummy.
Yeah. I don't think
That
that.
was probably some Philly fan that leaked that out.
I hope
Yeah.
not. I really hope not. I mean, really, like, I feel like Philly fans are above that, to be honest, and that's saying something.
No,
That's
we
really
are.
saying something.
Yeah.
We are.
Like, we're not like that.
No.
But seriously, I think if that did happen, not just with the Nets because they're a mess, but like with any team, that is just grounds for like divorce,
Absolutely.
banishment.
Absolutely.
Everything.
If he did that, on the flip side of what I was saying, if Ben Simmons did that, he should never be allowed on an NBA team again. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the NBA ban him. I'm saying, why would a GM sign him?
Like, great.
You know what I mean?
There's like
Why?
questions for that now, but
Right,
like,
right. But if that is confirmed, wow.
yeah,
That's like really eye-opening. And I don't see anyone wanting to like keep him if that's true, you know?
Yeah.
Because where is your backbone if this is true? He said, we talked about this last time too, he said he was going to play Game 3. Everyone in Philly knew he wasn't playing Game 3. And then wouldn't you know it, morning of Game 3.
My back
Ben
hurts.
Simmons is not playing.
My back hurts.
Yeah, my back is sore.
I slept on the bed wrong.
Oh, I'll play Game 4 though. We knew. And then everyone else did. Yeah.
We knew the whole time.
Yeah. So I
We've
would.
seen that once or twice.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to put that above Ben Simmons because that is something he would do. You know.
yeah, there was plausible cause.
Yeah. But
Like-
that's what makes it even worse if he
Yeah.
did make it up. You know.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. It actually was creative.
All right. So, do you guys think sports leagues need to chill with the tampering investigations?
So I'm gonna say.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
The whole Brian Flores thing with the Miami Dolphins was like the biggest one, right? Where he's being told to lose.
Yeah.
You know, front offices do that all the time. The Sixers for all those years, like, you actually are telling me they put a roster together to win?
But
They
here's
just
the
went about it differently. They just said that this is our best roster, and then no, it
here's the
No, they
difference
just
with the
started
Sixers.
Jaleel Okafor to like bring them to the
Yeah.
I'm saying,
finals.
like,
Here's
you
the
know, you can there's different ways you can tank. Like, you
Yeah.
can either tell your coach to lose games, or you can just put together terrible rosters. It's all the same thing in the end.
There's a difference between what Miami did and the Sixers. So the Sixers were a mediocre team, like hovering around an 8th seed, and just dumped their quote-unquote talent, which was like Evan Turner, Drew Holiday, who's a great player. Yeah, Spencer Hawes, and Iguodala. Like, they dumped them, and they got picks.
And 2-time final
And
MVP.
yeah, they just absorbed the blows pretty much. But the Dolphins had some promise. Like, they had Tannehill, and obviously he flourished after Miami.
Even last year.
They had Brian Flores, who's still a top 10 head coach in the NFL, even though he isn't on a
He
team.
should get a job somewhere.
Well, he's
He will.
He's on the Steelers coaching staff right now, so
But
probably.
he'll get another head coach
Yeah,
job
he should.
like ASAP.
I hope he doesn't get
I think he got
blackballed
the
because he
most.
deserves a spot.
I think he made the most out of that roster. I mean, last year they were-
1,000%.
Yeah.
And it's such a joke that Miami told him to lose and stuff when he was rallying
Putting
those
together
guys.
a playoff team.
Yeah, he was building a playoff team, and it's
And
like
it's not like the
so-
NBA either, where if you're a low seed, you have no chance.
Yes,
like,
no,
in the
and-
NFL, hell, they could win.
Yeah,
They can keep winning. Look at the Bengals. The Bengals weren't the one seed; they were what, the 4 seed,
yeah.
right? And they put it together.
No, yeah, okay, yeah, they were the 4 because they
Yeah.
hosted that. Something that gets so overlooked too in the NFL is culture.
Yeah.
Flores was building a culture there. For whatever reason, the front office was completely blind to it, and they were too busy talking to Tom Brady. You know what I mean? So they were so dumb with it. And they deserved everything they got. At the same time, like, does the NFL really think, and the NBA too, do they really think that owners and GMs aren't talking to pending free agents?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
It's kind of like the cheating
Come
scandal
on.
in baseball. Like
We all know
the
this is
Astros
happening.
got blamed for it, but everyone knows everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
I was-
So I do. Sorry to cut you off there, but I do think that I feel like I fall in the middle, I guess, of that question because at some point you have to make some sort of ground there, you know, some sort of direct rule. But at the same time, I feel like you should offer some leeway with it because it is happening, you know. And if you really wanted to, you could probably discipline every single team in your league for tampering. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah. And I was looking on CBS's website, and there was an article that compared tampering being illegal to like the NFL code of conduct, the same way going 68 miles an hour and a 65 mile an hour speed limit is to the rules of the road.
Yeah,
Like, you're never going to enforce it. You just pick and choose. There's situations like Jalen Brunson. I don't like accusing people of tampering, but like, come on now. Like,
Yeah,
he's not
really.
worth $100 million.
And his dad is on the coaching staff.
Yeah, like there was money getting shared,
There was
and then
obvious tampering.
there's teams like the Sixers who James Harden
Clearly.
literally said he just wanted to take a pay cut so they could get better guys.
Yep.
And then he would just get the rest of the money that he was going to get anyway.
Yeah.
And no, let's focus on the Sixers when there's like nepotism going on with the Knicks.
Yeah, right. And the other thing is with the Sixers, literally when they were introducing Harden, Josh's Harris first lines were like, "We want to thank James Harden for choosing the Sixers." It's like, how dumb are you?
It just
You
happened
literally
to
just admitted to tampering.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, like, also what you were alluding to with the speed limit
Mhm.
comparison. It's like, obviously, he was going 68 and a 65 there, you know,
Yeah.
saying that. So, it's not going to get disciplined, I feel like. I don't think the Sixers, to be honest. And I don't think they should
It'll be
either.
a slap in the
Yeah, right. And it's like, the Dolphins actually kind of got screwed with theirs.
Yeah.
You know, the NFL put their foot down. But the NBA, I don't think Silver has the balls to, because let's be real, superstars run the NBA.
Totally.
Yeah.
Superstars
I agree.
do not run the NFL. Businessmen run the NFL. Superstars run the NBA. That's the difference between those leagues. And to be honest, that's why the NFL blows the NBA out of the water in terms of money and revenue and viewership. You know what I'm saying?
It's even like that in MLB too.
Yeah.
I mean, players don't even get to hit free agency for 7 years
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
of
honestly,
team control.
Yeah, it's kind of
So-
really sketchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's the only league it happens.
What's are you talking about the MLB?
Yeah, just like that
Like
service
the,
time
the
rule
service
with-
time rule.
Yeah. that sort of thing. But when you're an NBA rookie or an NFL rookie, you sign a rookie deal. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I feel like in the MLB, they should do it where if you get drafted, you sign your minor league deal, and then when you get called up,
You sign your professional deal.
Yeah, you
that's
sign
actually, that's actually interesting.
just a rookie deal that's like based off, you know, because the NBA and NFL do it where you were drafted determines what you make on your rookie deal. So
you also
something
look
like
at the
that,
MLB too.
something
They,
similar.
they manipulate that service time.
Yeah,
Very,
no,
like-
you saw the Mariners guy, right? He just got disciplined for last year, right?
Yeah.
He had to resign. That was
Yeah.
that was weird.
There will be times
Yeah.
where they don't even call up a guy for like a quarter of the season because they want an extra year of team control. They're
so
sacrificing team success for
Yeah.
an extra year control on a
scummy. It's
young
so
player.
dumb. It's so dumb.
But the NBA is just like losing control of
100%.
everything.
I think that's the other extreme.
yeah.
It's a bad extreme.
Yeah, that's a bad extreme.
And like everyone, like we live in an age where like it's so easy to contact people. Everyone's more social and friendly. Like when Gary Payton was a free agent, Michael Jordan wasn't calling him to get him on the team.
Yeah,
And, like,
exactly. Yeah,
Kevin Durant's doing that for Kyrie Irving and James Harden.
yeah.
And everyone's just calling everyone. And, like, even if Harden and, like, even Morey talked to, like, PJ and Daniel House, like, so what? They were probably friends.
Yeah, for
like,
real, yeah.
They probably miss backing up Harden, dropping 36 in Houston.
Completely.
Why wouldn't you want to do that again?
And I don't think it's wrong for Morey to text them and be like, "Yeah, what do you think about coming here?" Like, that's not wrong.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, especially if they're a free agent.
Yeah.
I do think it's wrong if mid-season last year, Morey is texting PJ Tucker about coming to the Sixers when he's a member of the Heat.
Yeah.
That's wrong, I think, because that takes away the integrity of the game, because then Tucker's looking forward.
And he's not completely locked in on the
Right,
roster.
he's not completely zoned in on his team, so that could be used as a strategy. Like, Morey could text certain key players for other teams to try and knock them off their mentality and their locked-in ship to the game,
Yeah, I will say I think you were defending Miami a little too much, though, because they did, like, poach, like, Tom Brady and Sean Payton, like, while they were under contract. So they did deserve, like,
they
what
deserved
they got.
it. Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I 1,000% agree.
Yeah, I agree with
like, Flores didn't deserve that, though, is
No,
what I'm
no.
saying. Yeah, he didn't deserve to have owners that were like that,
Yeah.
Because he's a great coach. He was building a great culture. And he was building a great football team.
Yeah.
And they completely stripped him of that. And now he's like a special teams coach for the freaking Steelers. It's such
a
a joke.
Like, tanking aspect of sports, if it didn't exist, sports would be so much better.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
But
that.
In the NBA, it's effective. Like, it's fairly effective. But you look at the MLB, you look at
The A's and stuff.
you look at the NFL. Tanking is not as successful.
Yeah.
You can have the number 1 overall pick in the
Yeah,
MLB
for
draft, the NFL draft, and they just might not be as good as
Yeah.
the 25th pick in the draft.
Yeah, you're right. And
Mike
you never
Trout,
know.
Mike Trout's got drafted first round, 25th pick.
Yeah.
He's the best player ever.
It's all about team needs, too. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's hardest in the NBA to, like, flip a team around.
Yeah.
Like, you could flip an NFL team
That's
around
what
in,
I'm
like,
saying.
2 seasons, but,
Yeah,
like, an
Eagles
NBA
did
team...
it.
Yeah,
The
7
Eagles
to
did it.
Super Bowl. Yeah, that's
4
what I
and
was going to
11
say.
one year, and then they're back in the playoffs.
Yep,
What,
for
a
4
year
or 5
later?
years. Yeah. Chip Kelly, it seemed like Chip Kelly ruined them, and then 2 years after his firing, they were on top of the football world.
Yep.
So you can easily flip it in football. And to be honest, you can easily flip it in baseball, too. All it takes is a couple young guys that
Totally.
can start performing for you. But yeah, I agree in basketball, if you're hovering around that middle section, like
It's
if
tough.
you're in the play-ins 8-7 seed, that's not a good spot to be. You want to be either at the very bottom or the very top. That's it. You don't want to be in the middle in the NBA. But being in the middle in the NFL and MLB isn't such a bad thing. Yeah.
Look at the Nationals in 2019.
Right, yeah.
Wild card team wins the World Series.
I'm pretty sure they were 17-32
Yeah.
to start that season. That's terrible. And then they completely flipped.
Yep.
That just goes to show how long the season is. And like we were saying, it's not that bad to be at the bottom. All you need is one turning point. It can change your entire season. Same thing with football. You can start, not many teams do it, but it's possible to start like 0-3 and 0-4. And then you have that one moment, that one game that changes it, and then you go on a tear. You know what I'm saying? Because like with the Eagles Super Bowl season,
I was about to say the same thing. You didn't expect that from them. That Giants game where Jake Elliott
they
makes
blew
a
that
60+
lead.
yarder.
Yeah, they
Like,
blew. Yeah,
That was the turning point. Of the
imagine
season.
losing that game too.
That
If
was the turning point. Of the
you
season.
could say if they lost that game, they don't win the Super Bowl. Like
100%.
they blew a multi-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter and to a team that was not good. You know what I'm saying? That Giants team was
They could
terrible.
have thought about that for the next couple of weeks.
Right, yeah. That would have
they should have
lingered.
had that
That would have lingered. But nope, they came back, they fought, they battled. That's the signs of a championship team, for sure.
I'm not as tapped into baseball as you two are. I look at the NBA and I see, like, the markets just, like big market teams just get every free agent, and, like, it's almost impossible for, like, I don't know if Sacramento will, like, ever win a finals.
Yeah.
And do you think that's, like, the NBA is the only case where, like, the big market teams will just absorb all the superstars, and, like, the small market teams like the Sacramento Kings and even the Pelicans, like, they'll never touch the success ever?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an NBA issue. Pretty
a small market
exclusively.
team in the NBA stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, look at the NFL. Cincinnati was just in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't that small, but it is a small market. Let's not get that wrong. That's a small market. And granted, LA, Cincinnati being in, and even like Kansas City hosting the AFC Championship game, they're going to be perennially at the top of the AFC
for the next 15 years.
However long Patrick Mahomes' contract is. And again, Kansas City, not too small, but not a big market. You know,
you can also look in baseball too. I mean, I just keep bringing up baseball.
Tampa Bay. Yeah, I was going to bring up Tampa Bay for MLB. Yeah,
8,000 people at a game.
Exactly.
And they are a 95+ win.
I know. Yeah. What a shame for them. Last year. What a shame.
They're going to move to Canada.
Yeah.
Wait, who, the Braves?
No, they should move to Nashville. Honestly,
you think so?
Dude, I was in Nashville for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
If they had good sports teams, that city would be popping. I think that would be a great sports city.
That'd be a cool place to have teams at.
Because you know what else?
Charlotte needs a team. Dude, Nashville needs a team.
They could build a really nice stadium there, too. And you know MLB is all about beautiful ballparks and stuff like that. So like Nashville would be a good spot, I think.
Grizzly fans go crazy, too, right?
Yeah, that's Memphis, but same
Tennessee.
vicinity. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah. Nashville's definitely more of like a music city and like a pop culture city, I guess. But like I was saying,
I think MLB team would fit very well into
Nashville. And when the Nashville Predators were good, they had that place was rocking right? Sometimes. Yeah, like I don't understand why you're wasting your time in Tampa Bay. They don't like baseball. That stadium
is
a
contract with the city.
Yeah, that stadium is like 40 minutes away from Tampa Bay, so it's like they don't have much fan support because of that. And I don't know why the MLB is messing around there. They could go back to Oakland, man. Someone build a stadium in freaking Oakland and let's get the Oakland A's fans back. Like,
wait, where do the A's play?
They're going to be going to
Vegas. When they were in the playoffs a couple years ago, they filled that.
It's not confirmed, but they're going to be gone, dude.
Are like all the Oakland teams just moving? Out of Oakland?
Yeah. I don't know why. I thought Oakland was such a good sports city. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. The Raiders and A's were like, I don't want to say iconic, very notable franchises in their leagues. Like, I'm kind of disappointed that they're going. I'm sad to see that, dude.
Warriors, too. Like, how do you, like, move them, like, while they're in, like, the best phase they'll probably ever be in?
Such a shame, dude.
Yeah.
And that place, when it was in Oakland, dude, those were some great playoff games.
Oh, yeah.
And even before Curry's era, like, when Baron Davis dunked on Kurolenko for the Mavs. You know what I'm talking about, that moment? Yeah, the We Believe Warriors, they upset the 1 seed, Mavs. That was 2000. For Warriors?
Yeah.
It was Baron Davis. Oh my gosh. There were so many. You know, I'll look up their roster right now. But yeah, they beat the Mavericks that year, who had Nowitzki and Terry and Kidd and stuff. And they were the 1 seed in the West. They were running away with it. Dude, that was such a fun team. And just that entire arena that year was just going crazy. And even when the Curry Warriors came, you know, just watching them against the Cavs, all those finals, and watching them against the Rockets in the Western Conference playoffs, those were a lot. Here, these were some of the players from that team. Monte Ellis.
Oh, okay.
He was a 2K god.
Yeah.
Baron Davis, like I said, Steven Jackson was on that team. Matt Barnes was on that team. Jason Richardson, who played for the Sixers. Al Harrington, he was good.
Wait, that was a flashy passer with the tattoos, right? Jason Richardson, or am I thinking about someone else?
No, that's Jason Williams.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
he's the white guy. Yeah. Nah,
that elbow pass.
Yeah, and they had Chris Webber. I didn't even know they had Chris Webber. You know who else was on that team? Sixers legend Marco Bellinelli.
I miss him.
Yeah, he
would have solved a lot of our problems.
Yeah, that was a good team. Yeah, I do miss that. The Oakland sports field. It's going to be gone.
Yeah. I got to say, though, like, it is so awesome, like, being in an air-conditioned room versus, like, being in a tent.
Outside, that's terrible.
You know we were in a tent, like, last episode, right?
Really?
In Aiden's backyard.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just, like...
But being in AC is way better.
Yeah.
100%.
This is a good spot for it.
I was just coming from work, and I'm like, Aiden's like, oh, I got a tent outside. I'm like, shit, let's just reschedule. But this is an upgrade. And,
yeah, definitely.
I think we're going to be at Paul's house tomorrow, too.
Oh, okay,
so.
Cool.
Yeah, we're just moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show, dude.
Oh, dude, this is awesome.
I love talking about sports.
I feel like we went for like an hour or something, right?
Hour 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a long episode.
Gene, come back anytime. I'm getting like
we'll
a Bluetooth piece because like Aiden's going to be going to LaSalle, so like me and Slay will be here, but like we're going to need a Bluetooth guy on the phone, so.
Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't even be opposed, like calling in every once in a while and just giving shit takes. I love talking.
Be the degenerate you were talking about.
Totally. Yep, so much fun. This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime.
Alright, if you guys heard the song in the beginning, that's our friend Degafe. You can check him out on all platforms. It's from his song I Can. So check him out. It was very kind of him for letting us use his song for the intro for free.
You so much.
Free. Yeah.
We'll try to get him on the show sometime too.
Yeah, he'll be on soon. Alright, till next time.